No, there's just, I think it's just the formative stage.
This is Tim Burchett, a Republican congressman from the state of Tennessee.
Want to get right into the reason that we're here. As I think many of you saw, if you follow us this past week, Rep. Tim Burchett hopped on Twitter, and he often does pretty hateful, ugly things, but this week he really topped himself and shared a picture of this man, Denton Loudermill, who was in Kansas City at the Kansas City parade, and said that he had been accused of being one of the shooters at the parade, accused him of being, quote unquote, an illegal alien, to use Burchett's language.
We'll put up the inaccurate tweet so everyone can see it. Burchett posted Denton's photo with the caption being, "One of the Kansas City Chiefs victory parade shooters has been identified as an illegal alien." Why did he do this? Because the border is their priority. And even when they get everything they want, they still turn it down. Burchett has been a goof for some time and may have even suffered the wrath of his fellow Republicans.
The former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy was accused of giving a kidney punch to Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett. Now, Burchett claims that he was still in pain hours after this happened. He believes it was in retaliation for Burchett being among that group that kicked McCarthy out of the speakership.
Maybe he should have taken his own advice.
These are areas you have to keep your hands off of.
Because it appears Denton has now lawyered up.
And so let's just be clear with people. What were you handcuffed for? What were they doing?
They handcuffed me because they said I didn't get out of the crime scene fast enough.
Okay, and so they handcuffed you, they moved you aside, and there were no charges.
I didn't get charged with anything or nothing.
How many people do you think were posting about this, Denton? Are you very in tune to social media? Did you see it happening?
No, I am not. My family is, but they said there's thousands of people saying things that are incorrect.
What would your message be to people like Tim Burchett, who rushed to conclusions and posted this about you?
Sometimes to think of what they say or post, think about what's the truth before they make their move.
Impossible not to feel for this guy, especially when Burchett, a United States congressman, spreads false, defamatory news about a U.S. citizen to score cheap political points. The Knoxville News' Allie Feinberg would write, police ultimately detained 3 juveniles on suspicion. They fired shots that killed a woman and left 22 people injured. 2 have been charged, and 1 was released after police determined the minor wasn't involved. Burchett posted on X a photo that showed Loudermill and falsely claimed he was an illegal immigrant who committed the shooting. Burchett's tweet was reposted by over 2,000 people and was interacted with by at least 4,000. Loudermill, a father of 3, told local media he has received death threats since those images of him at the scene went viral. But he's not taking legal action, at least for now. From the Daily Beast, before long, viral posts surfaced alleging that a 44-year-old illegal immigrant named Sahil Omar was identified as one of the shooters and had been arrested by Kansas City police, citing the images of a detained Loudermill. The AP noted that the name Sahil Omar has been used to make similar erroneous claims about other recent tragedies, likely preying on fears about immigration and crime, and you know who they are preying on. His attorney would also say, Mr. Denton has received death threats over a lie, over misinformation. He didn't do anything wrong, didn't commit a crime. So please run, tell that, get the truth out there, help us clear his name, help us save his life. Even with all this info, Tim Burchett would never apologize. He would never say sorry for putting a target on an innocent man's back. Instead, he opted to write, "It has come to my attention that in one of my previous posts, one of the shooters was identified as an illegal alien. This was based on multiple incorrect news reports stating that. I have removed the post." Weak sauce, Congressman. Weak sauce. Now, what I would recommend is if the RNC has any fees left to pay your legal fees after likely covering for Donald Trump and his suits, because they are bending over backwards for him, I would recommend reaching out to Ronna McDaniel. Just a piece of advice.
Would you have liked to see an apology there, Denton?
Yes, I would. I would like to see that. Yes, I would.
Right.
Okay.
We not only would like to see that, we expect to see that, and he should want to do that. If I tweeted something out to hundreds of thousands of people and I was wrong, I would apologize because I don't want to be wrong. And so if your intentions are to represent the American people, to represent them with truth, then you should want to walk that back. And from what I understand about Tim, Congressman Tim, this isn't one of his first rodeos with making statements that have harmful and hurtful consequences.
Far from it. He makes a habit of hopping on his feed and talking about people in that way. And that's why he was in such a rush to do this in this
The
moment.
Tennessee Holler would catch up with Burchett and ask him about it.
Hey, Tim, do you think you should apologize to Denton Loudermill, that guy that you accused of being a mass shooter? I think he wants to left it up for 4 days, Tim, and never apologized to the guy. Why didn't you apologize to that guy? It's such an easy thing to do. Just apologize to the man.
You know, your mother told me, allegedly, that you were the second biggest disappointment in her life.
What a smug, soulless coward. He put Denton Loudermill's life in danger, put his family's life in danger, and can't bring himself to do anything other than attack the media for asking a fair question. Why is it so hard for Burchett to apologize? I'll tell you. Because he doesn't have to. He never has to. After all, his donors, the ones he takes campaign cash from to do their bidding in the House of Representatives, don't demand he say sorry ever. He's not built on morals, he's built on screwing people. As former prosecutor and Midas Touch editor-in-chief Ron Filipkowski wrote on Twitter, MAGA doesn't apologize or admit mistakes. It's part of the brand. Sadly, this dude won by a country mile in Tennessee's 2nd District. However, he is up for re-election in 2024. The Tennessee Holler, meanwhile.
All this money that they're talking about, that they're bragging about around here, the infrastructure funds that came from ARPA, how come you opposed all of the bills that gave money to Tennessee that funded all these projects that everybody loves around here? Why did you oppose all of those?
Because only 10% went to infrastructure.
What did the rest go to?
Woke programs that you and your followers
What does
like.
woke mean, Tim? What is woke?
You are woke.
Yeah, what does that mean? What's your
Offensive.
definition?
Offensive.
Offensive to you?
No, offensive
so anything
to
that offends
90%.
Tim Burchett? Isn't that most things? You seem to be offended by everything, Tim.
Most people are just offended by you.
Is an outlet you need to be keeping your eyes on. They do great on-the-ground work and hold the powerful like Burchett accountable, exposing him in the process for being a goof lawmaker who is completely unqualified for his position.
You don't have any regrets about opposing all of the bills that gave all this money to
We're
Tennessee,
broke.
created all these
We're
jobs?
broke.
How are we broke? What's the right amount of
We
debt?
have $35
Tim? What's the right
trillion
amount of
in
debt?
debt.
What's the
You're
right
first.
amount of debt? What's a good amount of debt, Tim? Do you have personal debt?
Zero debt is
You have zero debt? I doubt that, Tim. I doubt that very much. If debt is your concern, Tim, if debt is your concern, why would you not be for cutting some of the military budget or raising taxes on corporations and the
Who
wealthy?
is raising more hell about the Pentagon than me?
You're for that. That's great. What about
Ready to
raising
cut.
taxes on the wealthy and corporations? What about that?
All credit in the world to Justin Canoe for asking the right questions. I mean, big props, man.
If you want to deal with debt, shouldn't income be part of that equation and not just stopping spending? I feel like when you were fighting that fight, you weren't very specific about the cuts you wanted to see. You were just like, cut, debt bad, and then took the position and obstructed our government, but you didn't really get specific on the cuts that you want to make. Isn't that kind of easy, Tim, to do that? You just obstruct, and isn't that a lazy way of governing?
Support the Tennessee Holler if you can. They are fellow progressives in the state and do great work. The Associated Press noted that the name Sahil Omar has been used to make similar erroneous claims about other recent tragedies, likely preying on fears about immigration and crime. Even with all this info, Burchett wrote, "It has come to my attention that in one of my previous posts, one of the shooters was identified as an illegal alien. This was based on multiple incorrect news reports stating that. I have removed the post." Nah, man. Too little, too late. If there are any stories we missed, if there are any that you would like to submit, get at me and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. DMs are open. Look forward to all of y'all's submissions. And please, if you can, support the network, keep us independent, keep us afloat. Go to tyt.com/join. I just wait for the day that someone in the MAGAverse, the MAGA hemisphere, says, yeah, I got that wrong, my bad. Because it truly feels like there is damage that these people feel they will inherit for righting a wrong.